Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beauty School Bobbi podcast. Today I am with Shane Hamilton, who you all are in for a treat. He is going to entertain you. This is going to be everyone's favorite episode and the most energy we have ever had on the show for sure. So Shane is definitely a person that immediately when we met just matched my energy. And I remember just being like, you are going to make so much money in this industry. I'm so excited that you're here. So thankful that we get to be together to talk. So thank you.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Like, I remember when you said that, I was like, I doubted myself. I was really like, she's just saying it to everybody to get her anybody in. Yeah, it was.
No, you have such an awesome story, and I'm really excited to share it. And I think most importantly, like, there's two things that you that stand out to me about you. I think overcoming hardship and turning, life. When life gives you lemons, turn into lemonade, like that's you. And you do it so positively and make people feel so good. And you just carry an energy about yourself that like literally we felt when you left. And so I'm excited to get into all that and just excited to show you off to the world because everyone is going to love you. So I want to kind of start by talking about you coming in to meet with me to come to beauty school. So you were at an interesting point in your life.
Very much so.
So let's talk about what that was like when you started.
Well, we had COVID hit, which changed a lot of people's lives. And my husband actually died in my arms on December 31st, on 2020. We had COVID at the time. He died of a heart attack. It kind of wore his body out. And life got really dark after that. I mean, I was only married to him for about 3.5 years. I thought my life was going in a certain direction, and after a lot of already turmoil, I was really excited about having a positive direction. And then God decided to kind of change that for me. He was like, no, this is not what it's for. And I got real dark. I'm a recovering addict, so unfortunately, I even relapsed. And then, luckily, with the power of Scott as my guardian angel, got fire into just kind of, this is not the way he wanted me to live. So, you just try to find the positive in any possible thing you can, and try to yin and yang with the bad stuff that was happening as much as you could, one day at a time. And then my dog died, then his mother died 2 months after that. So we lived with her and she was sick. And then of course, after he died, she was like, couldn't hold on.
Yeah.
Things got really bad with the family. Luckily, the light was, I met someone unexpectedly during this time who, when walking into the room, had this aura of my husband around him. And I felt it was him pushing him in my way because within days, he was like, you need to be happy because let's find whatever it needs to do. And I said, I've always wanted to do hair. And he said, well, let's make it happen. And by the next day, he had all the finances figured out. He knew exactly how it was going to be done. He said, I just need you to make the call and have that. So I did, and you answered. And I had my wonderful interview, which I went home, I was really excited, but it wasn't over. My first best friend died right after that call. And then I was like, okay, this is definitely where I need to be. I just feel like this is going to change my life. This was going to be the positive to a lot of this negative. I enrolled into the September of 21. Yeah, okay. So it was that. And then within the first week of school, my other best friend died. So we had a lot of death and darkness. And beauty school to me, you, the staff, were really the positive to all the negative that was happening in my life at that point.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, if I didn't have beauty school, I don't think I would have been around today.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely what you were made for. And I think that actually my husband and I say a lot, and we try to like teach our kids that you get the light that you give. And so
You're exactly right.
really being that person. And so again, like when we met, I remember sitting in my office talking to you for like in a normal appointment, it's 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes people are like shy to ask questions or
Right.
whatever. And you and I talked like about everything, like
Everything,
about what
yeah.
you had done before this, like how had you not already been in the industry? I think that was
Right.
one thing we were like, how are you not already doing this? Like you're just made for this. And you were at an age in your life where it is a complete start over to come to beauty school, to be around 18-year-olds. And we told you, I remember being
Yes.
like, just come to us. Like you, and that's kind of what we tell our more mature students, like when, these are the struggles that you're gonna face, but we're here to help you to navigate that. But you became everyone's favorite. Everyone like looked forward to seeing you, especially when you started on the floor, when you got out of your freshman class and you were taking clients, like everyone was so excited. Like, give it to Shane, he'll do it. If we needed anything, you didn't say no ever. You
No.
always did it. You were the loudest, most supportive person,
Yes.
whether you knew the people that were graduating or not. Out
Yes.
on that sidewalk, that was my favorite thing because I was like, you're making their moment. Because I think that moment is so special. And
Yes.
you really took
Goosebumps.
pride in being like, I'm going to encourage them. I'm going to be like the cheerleader that
Yeah.
gets everyone through it. So even through something that was so hard for you, like you facing so much loss, like you never deterred from like, this is what I'm supposed to do. You showed up every day, smile on your face, no matter what. I mean, you would email me and like we would kind of know what was going on, but like no one else knew that anything was happening. You were just loving and kind to every student, every client. Like they loved you. Like it was just something that is so rare. I don't know if, I mean, now talking to you in this way, seeing that like maybe it was just all of those things that happened that you were like, I don't have a choice. I
Brings
just
tears to
have
eyes.
to do this, but that's really who you were and what you are. And like all of us, like, so when you come in, we're all like, Shane, like so excited to see you. So it just is what you were meant to do. And I mean, from the moment I met you, I knew that you were going to be so successful in this. So coming out of something so dark to something so light is crazy.
I think because though the darkness that was going on, I feel like being here, I felt like dad. I felt like a dad. I really did. Like I had you had
200
daughters. Like it really was. And then a few odd-end guys every now and then. And that's kind of how I felt. And there, I was going through some darkness, but everybody I feel is going through something. And it may not be the caliber of what I'm going through, but to them, it's important and it means a lot. And I felt like I understood that more than anybody, I guess, going through that time. So I felt like being that dad and just being supportive. And even if you were that person who wanted to talk badly, like it was just like, I'm okay with it. Whatever it makes you feel like you need to go good. I love the girls. I love the staff. TSB was a home, like instantly. So I felt like you had sisters and brothers and daughters and sons. And for me, my role for that was to encourage each and every one of them. If they're upset, like I would take them in the back and I didn't even know them and then let them cry, because some people just need that. Because I don't think everybody has that person in their life. And even though I could have they may have just known me for the months that they were here, I wanted it to be a bright light for them because I'll always be here for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to tell me what's going on.
It's crazy to be so selfless, though, when you're going through so much. And I think that that's like a response that, like, I don't know if it was like, if you even knew it at the time or if it was just like, this makes me feel good to do this, so I'm going to distract myself with this.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not selfless because it was actually very selfish because the fire that I got from people, the people that would come in and go, oh my God, or like hug you, or like that fire, that energy actually helped me get through it. So it was my drug that would just make me want to wake up every day.
No, I get that for sure.
So
I think that I relate to you in a big way on that, where I feel like it makes me, feel better, and I just can have a good day if everyone else is too, and you definitely did that. So
there were faulty days. Like I'd come in here. I mean, heck, Chad and I had, an issue at one time. We had out, and Amber and all the we've had some issues with the teachers because my anger at the time, and I was just lashing out on the people who would let me lash out.
Yeah.
And I remember Amber even just pulling me aside like twice, and she just read an emotion on my face and just would let me go in the office and just literally crash on her floor. And it was moments like that just made me respect the teachers and the staff. There were students here that let me do that. And just kept everything shut and just let me cry and then come out and smile. And it's all of those little people, even if it was just one person one time, all of those moments let me live. And it was beauty school that got me through it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would have been without beauty school. Like, it was just the right time.
Yeah, I think it was too, and we're thankful that we got to have you. So it was honestly like a gift, but I do think that that's an important message because I think a lot of people spend a lot of their life wanting to do this and maybe not sure. Like, have you realized, or have you seen since you have done this, have a lot of people come into your world that have either said hey, that's actually something I've always wanted to do? Is that are you attracting that now?
Twice I've seen someone go into beauty school and they've mentioned, I saw you do this. One even going into nursing school, when she had a year left in nursing school, and she said, seeing you go to beauty school at such a late age, encouraged me to go back to school. So it can be done, and it is encouraging. And it's those moments. They're like, oh my God, so I was meant to do this.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was put in my path for a reason, to help others too, and even the small ways, which is why I love this industry so much. Because, coming from a dancing business, which I love changing people.
Talk about a background. Let's talk about that for a second, because nobody knows you prior to this. What were you doing before? Because you have a crazy background.
I moved here when I was 23 years old, almost 24, and I answered an ad in a newspaper, says ballroom dancing teacher needed. And of course I had some dancing background. I came here to work for Dollywood, but something else happened. I answered it, and I became a ballroom dance teacher that I just really, really enjoyed. And I worked on and off full time till 13, 14 years. And you help people lose weight, or couples kind of reignite. We traveled, we did shows, we competed. I was a very competitive person, so I really loved that part. And it was great. It was a great part. I learned a lot of my sales from the industry. In fact, I owe all of that business to how I'm able to approach customer service, how I'm able to approach sales with people. That gave me the fire, but then I got old. Late 30s came, and I tried other jobs, and just wasn't in the managerial thing. The creative part wasn't there. And then all of this happened, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You've got to be happy, and you're not happy. So this has to happen. So that's kind of why. And I get the same fire when people turn around and they see that haircut or color or combo. And they cry, or they oh my God, this is the best color ever. You've made me feel so good. To me, that's the same reaction, that fire that makes you wake up in the morning.
Well, I think so. I think that when we always say you're selling yourself, you're the product as a stylist, and I think the same when you were teaching ballroom dancing, because I think you're the reason that they're showing up, and you're the reason that they're there. So you graduated beauty school, and I think that we literally could have put you anywhere, but you ended up at Belleza, and I think that was the best place for you to be. I think that they needed you, and you needed them. I think that they love you for who you are.
I hope so.
And I think that that's awesome. They
tell me that anyway. I hope so.
No, they do for sure. So tell me about what it has been like, because you've had a pretty interesting trajectory, that we would say this isn't normal, right out of beauty school, but you have climbed up this ladder very, very quick. So talk about what it has been like for you to go to the salon. So what the first little bit was the associate program education, and then to what you're doing now.
Shadowing was very important. And I think that's where I try to, when I go to do TSP classes, or I go to Veda, or I do anything else, I reiterate, please get out there and shadow, and don't wait to the end, and get out there and shadow, because it's not just you doing cutting hair or color. It's not that. Like it's a family. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. And when you go into these salons, it's not it is about the services they do, but you want to feel how they feel. Like, do they accept you? Do they love you? Culture was very important to me. And a lot of salons I felt had the very same looking person almost through their whole staff. And as a client, I feel that walking in, I would like to see some differences. And when I walked into Belleza, it was as if Dorothy had reached Oz for the very first time. Like, it was, like the feeling about that place was fantastic. The vibe was so good. It was like you kicked a hornet's nest. It was very busy, but very organized. I saw different ages. I saw different colors, sexual orientations. And of course, there are lots of loudmouths there, which I am very much. So I had to find that person and that place and that feeling that fit my personality. And I think I found it. Like, it has been a great place. Yeah, Regina and Marwan, and I'm going to go on record saying this, are probably some of the best people you will ever meet in your entire life. You know, and coming in this business late at 40-something, like, I've worked for a lot of people. I've worked for a lot of bosses. I have never met people even, let alone bosses, that care for people as much as they do. And that was so important to me. They wanted to know, you know, what's your goals? What do you want to do? You know, and I have told them everything. And they keep putting me in front of and encourage me to get where I need to be. And I've never seen that before. So it was just like, it was a win-win.
I wonder if you having that experience of working careers, like being like, I don't have time to try out some places, I need to find my own. If you saw that in them maybe sooner than other people would, or you saw the space you needed to go because you've had that experience. So when you're doing interviews, you were probably like, I know what to ask, I know what to look for. I'm just going to be honest, I'm going to be myself, because at the end of the day, that's what they're going to get.
Exactly.
You know, I bet that helped you a lot.
Yes, and age, experience does help you in that situation, which is why I guess I knew what I had when I had it, and I'm never letting it go. And that's what I try to reiterate, especially some of the younger people getting out in the business, is, you know, try to find that space where you know it's going to be forever. And it's okay that's why I want you to shadow, because you need to kind of go around. Some people may even shadow and go, this is just not what I want to do. And why wait until the end of your year of beauty school when you can get out earlier and save you some time and money? Not that that's a bad thing. You know, sometimes people go through things and figure out what they like and don't. And that's what being 19, 20, 21 is about. I had that experience, though. So I knew what I had. And I held on to it. And I will always hold on to it. They're great people. I'd probably take a bullet for both.
Well, hopefully you don't have to, but
no, hopefully I don't have to.
Would. So you've gotten training, obviously there, and you had your education days. So you still went through the process. How long was the associate program for you?
Well, Belleza has a very unique program. They changed it right before I actually started, so I feel like I got a benefit from that. They allow you to go at your pace. So you have an assistant program, which of course you're, doing the base colors and walking around and learning things and watching haircuts and cleaning. But you earn the days on the floor as you're assisting. Okay. So you don't have to necessarily wait the full program to be over with before you're out there doing hair. Because doing hair and being behind the chair is part of learning. Learning how to deal with customers is part of this job. So you have like a list of things you just need to get done. And it's a matter of you getting it done. So many classes, so many mannequins, so many models. So I would not wait for those classes to come around. I'm like, look, I want to stay on the floor. Can you please stay after work with me? And then we'll have a one-on-one class. And they would. They were always like, yeah, if you're gonna ask me to do it, then of course I'm gonna do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I stayed after, and I got through the program in 11 months. I actually had it done in 10, but I had a certain day I want to meet, so I did it in 11. It took my time.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and so you're on the floor full time now. Yes. And tell me about your clientele, building your clientele, your books, all of that.
Well, you have to trust the process. And that was the main thing. And again, experience helped me that. When they told me it's going to work out, I'm like, okay, I'm trusting you. When you have all of these different clients coming in the beginning, you know, a lot of them shampoo blow dries, which to me, people look at it and go, oh, I got a shampoo blow dry today. And I look at it as, this is a new client. I'm going to get you back for a color or cut. And there's the difference. So I would just build my clientele with that. You know, you never say no to a client, and I don't care what it is. You don't learn and you don't get unscared unless you put yourself out there. So I felt like I had to make those mistakes, and I did. And then all of a sudden, I looked around, and now most of my days are starting to fill up with requests, and they're all the same type of clientele, the one that knows it can put up with my loud mouth and have a good time. And it's crazy. You just put your head down and go, okay, I got to do this. Okay, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. And when you look up, you're like, whoa, how did I get here so quick?
I mean, you're about to go to New York, like we were just talking, so you're about to go on a trip. So
2 New York trips in a month.
Amazing.
I have a cutting one and a coloring class. So I'm doing coloring in May. So we're going to the Goldwell Academy there. And then I have a cutting class that we'll be doing in June.
I mean, that's amazing, getting that education. And I think that's one of the things that some salons or some students, I think that when salons come in and they say, hey, we travel and we this and we that, I almost feel like, I don't know if you remember this happening when you were a student, but I almost feel like they don't believe it. Or they're like, oh, we're not going to get to do, or that seems so far away or whatever. But like, you're doing it and you get to go have this extra education and get to go to New York. Like, I think those moments are so special for bonding for the salon too, of who you go with. You're going to get so close with, like, you have this whole experience, and you going to that level of training. Is going to be really exciting. So exciting.
I'm really excited. One thing I love about Belleza has always been education. Of course, that was one of my pluses, I believe, in there, of the many. When I started, we had classes every Monday. You know, it was always on cuts and colors, different techniques. You know, beauty school gave me all of the what I call the foundation, and now we are building the walls and the rooftops.
Right.
And then I got full time on the floor, level 1 stylist. We go still, you know, once a month, and I can go in as many times as I want to. And we do all kinds of neat colors and cuts. And then we do international trips every other year, and then, you know, in-country trips every other year. So I like to participate in that as much as possible, because that's where you're going to learn.
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to become such like an amazing stylist so much faster too from having that. Like, especially because you're saying like you need to fast track this a little bit. So in speaking to that, so what do you think, I know we talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but what do you think some challenges were of you making this career change later in life? Or if there is somebody that's listening that's like, should I do this? I've always wanted to do this. Let's talk about like good, bad, ugly of that. Like, what were the positives of that? And then what were some challenges?
Positives? Everything about it was a positive. There is nothing negative about changing your life at 40-something years old, or 50 or 60. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if you fail, you've at least done it and go, okay, I didn't work out. That's not going to work out. Instead of living for the next 20 years going, I wonder what would I have done?
Yeah.
It was the deaths that made me realize, like, I've got to get out there and do that. So I will say the positives were everything. Negatives, I mean, being around a lot of recently graduated, you know, students at a younger age, it's hard for me to sit back in a classroom and hearing about their bad days. I'm just going to be honest.
I think what you were going through too, like it had to have been like, it had to have taken so much control not to be like, are you kidding me right now? You know?
Did you not know? I'd lost it a few times on these students.
I'm not going to lie. I don't remember, because I also have this thing of like forgetting, like I love you so much, so I'm like, nothing ever happened.
Right. Well,
like,
a lot of them were girls that would go through like a lot of them were like breakup issues. Yeah. Okay, which again, I know at that age is a big deal.
But you're like, I just lost a spouse. So like a little different.
It is a little different. At the same time though, I know what they're going through is a big deal. But what I was just trying to reiterate and trying to, like, at 40-something, you have all that knowledge. Right. And all I want to do is take it out of my head and put it in your head for just one day for me to realize. Right. That it may be a good thing that you may not be with this man. Like, take the positive with it. If he's like treating you badly and this is what's happening, then
like, this is great.
You don't need to be with him, right? It's hard to sit back and hear what I call the small people problems and dealing with what you were dealing with and trying to be positive about it. But again, I didn't want to be too morbid with people.
Right. Yeah.
I remember
understand.
one time, I think one of the girls in the classroom was having this issue. She didn't know if she wanted to be with her husband, and it was like they hadn't been together in a very long time, and it was all these things. And I'm like, girl, you are wasting your time. If you are having this many issues with this man, then you do not need to be, because next week you may die in a bus crash, and this is going to be the end of your life. Are you happy with it right now? And I literally, she was like, oh my God. So I was like, oh my God, I need to tame this down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
sure.
it did happen. It did happen. I'm human.
What about coming back to school with rules and with uniform and schedule, because it is we're training with younger people that sometimes want to push boundaries, or maybe they haven't had to follow rules in high school or whatever the situation was, haven't had it. How was that for you?
For me, it was fine. I love structure. To me, rules are put in place for a reason. And when you break rules, you are making an appearance that you are better than the person next to you. So, meaning you feel that you are better, that you don't have to follow those rules. So that's how I look at those people that feel like they just want to break the rules just because they want to break the rules. And I just don't have time or place for it. Rules are in a place for a reason. And as an adult, and we get out in the world, what people don't realize is there are rules.
Yeah.
You have to be on time to things. You have to do things. It's not just whenever you want to do it. And I feel like the school structure of that got me back in the swing of things, of being on time to things, being on time to school and dress code. It is what it is. People wanted to complain about dress code. Dress code is there for a reason. And it is what it is. If you don't like it, there's the door.
Yeah.
This is the way it's going to be. And what people need to realize is that's the way it's going to be. And they just need to accept that and start learning instead of complaining about things. And you'll get a lot further in life when you just follow the rules and listen to the rules, listen to the staff, and do your thing and move on.
Yeah. It's true. And I feel like sometimes I have students that when they have been working, they're like, I don't need to be told when I need to be back from this or that. And I'm like, I know, but I know that you're going to be on time. And I know you're not going to skip. I know you're not going to leave if you see a client on your books. But we do have people in the building that are going to do that. So we have to have this. But I'm glad.
But in the majority of the time, that's what happens, though. The people that are not here on time to school or not worried about their dress code are the ones that are not doing hair right now.
Right, exactly.
And it's because they cancel on the clients, or they're late for their clients, and you're putting that personality out there that I'm better than you, and I don't have to, and no one wants to see or hear that or feel that way.
Right.
So unfortunately, you have to follow those rules for that reason. I feel like a lot of people go into booth rental, and stuff. I think a majority, from what I have heard, go into booth rental for that reason, because I don't want to have the boss, or I don't want to be told when I should or could or would have. And they're not making any money.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how hard, unless you're some famous Instagram socialite, you are not going to be doing good getting into booth rental coming out of beauty school. It's going to take many years before you can be full-time. You're going to have a second job. You're not going to be able to focus onto your craft and make it better. So unfortunately, I think a lot of times people fail because of that.
Yeah, I think so too. And we also do have to remember that not everyone is going. I have to remind myself of this all the time when we do have, because we have so many students that not everyone's going to do this successfully for the rest of their life, and not everybody wants to. So there are people that are here that don't even really want this, and I'm like, that's not who we need to be giving all our time and attention to. So
you're exactly right.
So I know you've been teaching. You got to come back and teach for the night students. So tell me what that experience has been like for you, coming back and talking to students, and what questions were they asking you at this point? So you've been out for a little over a year, is that right? Or is it
September, graduated August 12th of 22.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so almost
August would
2
be
years.
2 years. It's crazy. I've been doing job fairs. I've been doing some classes. Because of the teaching ballroom, I have this teaching feeling I love to educate.
Yeah.
Especially something that I'm passionate about. So coming back into the classes is fun. Like it's so cool, and it's actually very like Twilight Zone-ish. Like to come back.
You're like, I'm standing.
I'm like,
Am I supposed
oh
to sit
my
down?
God,
Like,
I'm standing up
you
here.
come in,
Holy
put your
crap.
stuff down, sit at the desk. You're like, okay, I'm ready.
It's so crazy. Time flies so fast. But yeah, it's great. I love it when they're in. And I will say, TSB is always great when you come back, and they're always so interactive. But we did a Vivid class because I love to do colors as much as possible, and got their hands in color, and they loved it. They asked all kinds of questions about, insurances, 401ks.
Wow.
What kind of benefits are you offering?
Yeah.
How much pay are you paying? What is the assistant program like? All the things. So they were very interactive
Good.
and very fun, and they were awesome.
Yeah, the night school students, because there's so much going on during the day, they don't always get a ton of guest speakers. And I know, I think Amber's working on that, getting new educators in to talk to them, to make sure, because they're our night students are about to graduate. They just did their final presentations, and we've got an amazing group coming out. And so I know they were really excited to get that attention from you and Michael as well. But I think it's awesome for you to be able to be open with them about what this all looks like. And it's good because I think you come at it from a way of like, this might not be for you, and but this is what worked for me, and this is what's been positive in my life. But again, no hard feelings if this isn't what works for you.
Exactly.
So I love that, and they were all really excited and like all loved you. So I knew they would.
I love this business. Like, can you go wrong? Like, anytime you get a chance to spread the love to anybody, heck, I might meet you in Walmart, and like we're going to talk about hair. It's funny because you've been in the hair business. I don't know what has happened, but after beauty school, like there is a big old light that apparently that I'm a hairdresser.
Really?
Because I go into Mexico, and I'm on a ship, some yacht for out there, and this woman comes up to me and she goes, "You cut hair, don't you?" And I said, "Yes, I do." She goes, "Well, I do, and I'm from Wisconsin." And honey, and then the three more come up, and then all of a sudden it's like this
hairdresser reunion.
Yes, and honey, we've
that.
been friends on Facebook since, and we follow each other's hair career on it.
That's
it's great.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
you
just radiate this industry. And I
guess.
knew, everybody that met you, I remember at orientation, everyone being like, oh, he's going to do so good. Like, you're doing it, and we're just so happy that you are, because we knew like the potential that you had, and like to see you go above and beyond even what we thought you were going to do.
But that put pressure on me. I'm going to lie.
Oh, really?
Everybody that saw me in beauty school, I remember Adam even coming into the very first interview, and I remember him looking at me, and he goes, "Yeah, you got a good look." And then he just walks on, and he always tells me he's going to be good, or I'm going to be good. And that put a lot of pressure, but at the same time, it was what encouraged me, because I was like, oh my God, all these people think I'm going to be good, so I have to be good.
Yeah.
So it was a way to push me too. So, yeah.
I think it's hopefully there to build confidence too, to say like, we know that like you're going to be something, so do it. Like, don't drop this ball at all.
I was hoping, at first I thought everybody was just like,
oh no, no.
She's just telling me that.
No.
But no. I love the job though. I love the job. And I said, one of the best things about this job, and I think I do well, is human connection. And I feel like you could just be a mediocre person that does just mediocre haircuts and color. Nothing extravagant. But if you can connect with people and relate to people in a way, that's what gets those people. Like, I've had 3 now letters sent to the store, handwritten on how well they love their experience. And that means like the world to me.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why you're doing this.
Yes.
Like, that's what it's all about. Like,
It's
you
not
want to
about just
make
cutting hair.
Yeah, exactly. You want to do pretty hair, but like it's not about that.
Yeah.
Like, you really spend time with them to like get to know them and like hear their stories. And I think that's going to happen a lot more, like I said, because I think what you put out is what you're going to get back. And I'm sure there's people in your chair that you're like, wow, you had a story we were supposed to meet. Like, I'm sure that's happened already.
It is. I do get a lot of widowers at 60s or 70s, and they're women, of course. And they go tentatively into it, and then I'm like, it's okay, babe. Like, I've lost my husband too. I know how it feels. And then they just let it all out. And I've connected with a lot of like older women because of that little issue. But I think what most people don't need to realize, and I think whether you're in hair and in any other business, what's going on in the world right now is a lot of negativity. And what we need to realize is I don't care what you believe, I don't care where you're from. You are trying to make a paycheck, you are trying to take care of your children, and you're trying to move on just like I am. And I feel like if we stop talking and we open our ears more to what people are going through, you will be able to relate to that person. And then there's that human connection. We're all going through the same stuff. We're all going through the same stuff. We all want that smile at the end of the day. And we're all just trying to get on. So I feel like we just need to step outside of our 2 feet sometimes. And that's what this job, I feel, is really about, this career's about.
Yeah.
Is because this is one of the few careers that you have that I get to touch and feel you. And like many people, you don't get that 2 feet unless it's family or someone close, right?
Right.
But you are in that 2 feet of space, and because of that, you want them to be able to be vulnerable with you.
Yes.
And be emotional with you. They may tell me they killed their husbands, and I probably wouldn't tell anybody. Like, you know.
You're like, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like, oh, well, how about those jets, you know? But they when you feel like they can let it out, and I feel like that's the connection, that's the experience that I want people to have sitting in my chair.
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I will do you some good hair, and I will do a dang good color, but we're gonna connect, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
For me.
And I'm so happy you get it, because it's hard to just, I mean, I think it really is, I'm learning that you have that inside of you to like want that or you don't. I think you can open yourself up to it if you're willing. But I think that that's what makes people great. Like that's what makes people great in this industry and memorable. And it makes other people want to be around this as well and want to come into this because they see you being happy and being fulfilled from what you're doing every day. And I'm happy that you found that. And I'm happy that we got to be a part of that story, because we're just, you know, so proud of you. And every time you come in, we're just so happy to see you. And I know the students like get so excited to see you too. So we're just so thankful. But I know you have a baby that's about to be born. So the exciting news is you're about to become a grandfather for the first time, like
That's
today.
happening. Today, she is going in for inducement tonight. And we should have a granddaughter by tomorrow.
I cannot
which is
wait to see
insane.
pictures.
I know.
So excited.
Little
so happy
Kinsley
for you.
Grace, little beautiful girl.
Oh, I can't wait. She's going to be so spoiled, and the outfits are going to be like so over the top. I'm excited. And
I don't know how
this
anybody
next
can be a
chapter
parent right now.
I know.
It's so expensive.
I know. You're like, and there goes all my money. That's why I had to start working.
Yeah.
And but thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'm
thanks for inviting me.
so thankful that we got this time to talk. So you can see Shane at Belleza Salon and Spa in Knoxville and Bearden. So where can we follow you? Where can they book like all of that stuff?
My Instagram is Shane's_beauty spot. And you can find me at the Belleza webpage, bellezasalonspa.com. And the Belleza page too, which is Belleza Salon Spa Instagram. And you can find and book me there at any time.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. So definitely go see Shane, and make sure you remember to like, subscribe, review, give us all the things. We're thankful for you watching and thankful for you being here. And good luck with the new baby. I can't wait to see her. And that's it, guys. Thanks.